Welcome to CEO Pulse. I am Brent Daniels, and this is the Brent Daniels TTP takeover of CEO Pulse for a special 100th episode edition. I am here with the CEO Pulse himself, Rafael Cortez.
Let's go. That's way better than my intro.
You have a podcast that is for entrepreneurs. You have a podcast that is mindset. You've got a podcast that is about building business. You've got a podcast that's about real estate. You've got a podcast that interviews a lot of different industries. There's got to be a common theme between all of these things that you've gone through. Like, reflect back on the 100 episodes and just how have you grown from this podcast?
Oh, dude, it's a loaded question. I can't even tell you how much I've learned. I think I cheat every single time I have a sit down with somebody because I'm tapping into their field of expertise, through the podcast. The power of conversation, right? TTP. But it's just perspective and awareness. Those two things alone have been absolutely total game changers in my life altogether, right? But I mean, as far as the reach and the loudness and being able to put a lot of the good stuff out there, creates this reciprocity effect that just keeps coming back to you.
Do you feel like you're better at communicating after doing 100 podcasts?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And are you doing it selfishly so that you learn from everybody?
No.
Or is this to put it out there just because you feel like people are interested are interesting people and you want to talk to them?
No, it's absolutely just because I want to pick people's brains. Yeah. I mean, I think you know very well that I've always been kind of apprehensive about putting myself out there and then just recording a video and all that stuff. But and I used to be very, very I can't remember the word, but I used to be very self-conscious about, the accent, the polishing, the editing, and it's like, fuck that. At the end of the day, there's a message to be said.
Right.
And I don't matter. What matters is the message is the conversation. And like when you take it from that standpoint, like nothing stops you. Why? Because you create that flow within the people that you're sitting down with. So, I mean, just having 100 different conversations through the podcast has been absolutely amazing. Absolutely
and
amazing.
Just so everybody knows, we recorded about 45 minutes before this, and we were like, this is kind of stuffy and weird. And we're like, we hang out all the time. We have the show all the time. We love each other. We hang out all the time. Our families get together. And so let's just rip and run and make this more real. And I'm just interested in a couple things, and then I want you to hit me with a couple questions that you had in there, because I think that there was some good stuff from what we did before. But your son, Alejandro, is getting older.
Yeah,
he's getting to that age where he's starting to think about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
how's that?
Well, I mean, one, it's epic, right? That I can expose him to a lot of the stuff that I wasn't exposed to.
Right.
I know I wasn't thinking his way when I was 15. It was completely different. But
he sees you. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You've been an entrepreneur. You've been a firefighter. You've been an EMT. You've been you've worked for Sean Terry as an acquisition manager. You've been on your own for a long time. You own a brokerage. You flip houses. You wholesale houses. You hold houses. Like, all of these, he sees you do all these things. You guys are very connected. Does he want to be like you, or is he kind of like in the zone where he's like girls, school?
No, not
athletics, that type of thing.
He's athletic. I mean, he works out with me. We spar. We do all jiu-jitsu and all that stuff together, right? But I think, I don't. My intention is not to like shape him after me. My intention is to give him the awareness, right, that shit can be done.
Yeah.
And he's really taking into that role. He comes at me with some ideas that are outside of the box, like it's out of the box thinking, which is pretty cool. But he has that entrepreneur bug, right, being developed. I think we have the ability to plant seeds in people and then water those and watch it grow, right? When it's your kids, like, fuck, man, it's a win-win.
Well, and I've got Seamus is special needs. He's my oldest son. He's 10. He's nonverbal, autistic, and that comes with a whole bunch of challenges. And then I have 5-year-old Bo, and when you have a special needs son, and then you have somebody that is, and then you have a they call it typically developing child, I feel like I spoil them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like he gets everything, and he's kind of like going through a weird phase. You know what I mean? Did you ever spoil all? Like, I need some advice here as an entrepreneur on, fatherhood, on, how to make sure that you don't turn, because you make a lot. You make a like ridiculous income, and so how do you make sure that they still have the hunger and they earn things instead of not be given things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no,
I feel like I just want to be around him. I just want to hug him, and I want to give him everything, and I want to like take him out and buy him Nerf guns every week and do whatever he wants to do and all these things. But I can see him kind of getting bratty about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just normal 5-year-olds or whatever, but
it's a very simple thing, dude. It's the for me, like, it's the appearance of chaos.
Yeah.
So it's not like, they're living in chaos. Thankfully, the beautiful life, and could be more grateful, right? But I still plant the possibility of chaos, meaning that I have, like, for example, I do give them a lot. And this is across the board. I give them a lot, but they have to earn it somehow, some way. Like right now, for example, Diego's been nagging me, and Diego's my 10-year-old son. He's been nagging me for months about a cell phone. Like 10-year-old, he wants a cell phone. I don't know where the fuck he needs a cell phone, but he wants a cell phone, right? Like, all right. So one thing that I could never, I never had the patience to figure out was a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
So we're having this conversation. He's been working on a fucking Rubik's Cube for the last week and a half,
Yeah.
trying to solve the Rubik's Cube because he wants to get a phone. Like that's his path
You
to
made him do
earning it. Yeah. So he's working. He's actively working on that thing. I mean, I'll
you
get
said
home
if
and he's
you
like,
if you do this Rubik's Cube, I'll give you a phone?
and yeah,
So
that
you
was
think putting some challenges in front? And
that was the
making them
agreement.
overcome
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and
I
then
love
so I'll what I do is I'll present the opportunity, right? Okay, cool. Here's the opportunity for the reward, but there's stuff that you have to do along the way. For example, Alejandro wanted to buy his first cell phone. It's like, okay, cool. Figure out a way to pay for half of it, and I'll cover the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it's a good, kind of give and take, but there's always a degree of merit, right? I feel like there has to be the awareness of merit that that we plant into especially your kids. Otherwise, I mean, they become spoiled brats, and then we're just making weaker people, right? This is one of my favorite books right here. Hard Times Create Strong Men.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a lot of sense. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create strong men. And we can change the context of
It's
humanity.
I like the one that smooth seas don't make skillful sailors.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what we were talking about before. Is going through all the really rough times in business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to just totally change tracks here, but it's when you have kids and you're building a business and things aren't going great and they don't know that. They have no concept of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you have to go and bring energy and enthusiasm, still have sparkles in your eyes for them, while in the back of your head you're like, I just lost $100,000 today.
Yeah.
I just one of my most important people
don't care.
just told me that they're putting in their 2 weeks notice. What's going on? What's happening? Most people don't deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an entrepreneurial podcast, so the people listening to this and watching this deal with that, but that's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to really digest on a daily basis. And I just want to give everybody encouragement out there that if you're going through some of these times as an entrepreneur, it does make you stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, tough times make tough men and women. And I think that when you're going through and building a business and understanding that you are 100% responsible for paying the bills and for bringing in the income, but you're also 100% responsible for being a great father, husband, brother, son, daughter, wife, all these other things. There's not balance. There's only harmony.
Yeah.
Right? And we talked about that before. There's not balance. There's only harmony, and you have to find the way to find that harmony. How do you find harmony?
I like the way that you put it, right? Harmony is a good word. I took this from Grant Cardone actually years back, and he was talking about counterbalance.
Yeah.
To me, I tend to get into this space where it's my work mode. I mean, I call it work mode, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I get just obsessed about a goal, obsessed about it, whatever the fuck it is I'm doing, and then I tend to dive into that stuff. There has to be things that pull me out of it, and it's crazy. But for me, I almost have to pre-plan for those things to happen. happen. For example, a trip right in the middle of a month that's got to be busy. Okay, cool. Why? Because I
get so itchy. You even saying that makes me like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
You're getting right,
yeah.
but when you come back though, you come back like that kind of stuff will disconnect me, and then when I come back, I mean, I it's kill mode.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's stuff that's needed as opposed to just dragging through the whole busy time while I'm tired.
Yeah.
But to me, it's having that sense of counterbalance. Okay, what can draw me out of that space where I'm lacking attention in the stuff that really matters, right? If I'm working too much, what can give me that counterbalance that I need to pay attention, focus the attention to my kids, right? And spend time with them. What does that look like? Does that look like a designated day out of the week to go to Top Golf and then just mess around with the kids and that sort of thing? So it's
Can
almost
you turn it off?
The thought. Here's the thing. I'm easily amused.
Sure.
So if I'm
good.
yeah.
Well, there you go.
So if I'm entertained.
Yeah, sure.
If I'm entertained,
Yeah.
I figure that out.
Yeah.
If I'm in a space where it's a boring space and it's just not engaging for me, I'm not, I'm still gonna be thinking about the thing, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is. But if I love going to Top Golf, having a drink, then hitting some golf balls with with the kids and messing. That's one thing, right? It'll disconnect me.
I think mentally, for me, I sprint as much as possible at the office.
Yeah.
To try to get as much done as possible between the time that I get in there and the time that I leave. And I always try to leave at by 5:00. And that it keeps me productive, not busy, because we want to be productive, not busy, because that's busy is just you're not providing value. It's not income producing. It's just you feel better because you're doing stuff, but it's not really moving the needle in your business. And then when I get home, I could just shut it down. Now, obviously, I get texts all the time from students. I'm responding. I get texts from my real estate business, from my wholesaling business. But for the most part, they can handle it. They have enough skills, and I have an incredible team to be able to handle that, which is really important.
Yeah.
And it's taken me literally 20 years to get this team. No, that's not right. 16 years to get this team, because I've been doing this for 18 years. And the last 2 years have been absolutely incredible, which has helped that a lot. But it's a mind shift change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get home, I put on a tank top, put on basketball shorts. I'm jumping in the pool. I'm done. You know what I mean? And I always used to bring it home because I wasn't doing work when I was at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would be like distracting. And then I was younger. I was trying to be a visionary when I'm a worker. You know what I mean? I'm not like an implementer, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a visionary. I don't know what I am. I think I'm just a go do stuff and that works. Do more of that stuff with a lot of energy, and more people will want to be around you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have a business, and then all of a sudden it kind of, molds itself. I think I think business people are too heady. I think we read too many books. We read too many philosophies. We read too many stuff. It comes down to, and we talked about it before, it comes down to being proactive and being loud.
Yeah.
Being proactive, being loud, and the third one, squatting up at the right people.
Yeah.
Like that's really, if you strip it all down to just that, and you don't get over your skis with expenses, and you don't drown yourself in liquor, and you don't do stupid things, you know what I mean? And you don't go through horrendous divorces, and you take care of your body, and you don't go through terrible illness, and you can be consistent for 3, 5, 7 years. I don't think anybody, I don't believe anybody can't. It's a weird sentence. I don't believe anybody can't be a millionaire.
Yeah.
For real. Like, I don't care what industry it is. If you could just stay focused on it. I really think a lot of people just are busy. They're not productive. What do you think?
I agree. I think, I was in that boat for a long, long time. I remember you walk into my office one time, and then you looked at my board, and I was so proud of my board because I was drawing all kinds of shit in it. I was like, yes, this makes perfect sense. And it was just like this thing connected with this thing, and then this other thing connected with this other thing. Yeah. I was like, yes. It felt like a master plan. I felt like Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
Which one's the Brain? Yeah, the little one. Yeah. So, anyways, so smart.
Nobody
so
will
smart.
know that reference.
Yeah, well,
I do.
Yeah, there you go. And you walk into my office and you're like, bro, this shit scares me.
Yes, it
It's
does.
like, wait, what? It's really like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think what I'm trying to get to here, there's a reason to the madness. What I'm trying to get to here is that oftentimes the need to be right out of the gate is so big, right? That we become too heady. We become too, that not
perfectionism.
sometimes it may not even be analysis paralysis, right? Sometimes it's just like I just want to have shit dialed in. It's got to be perfect. But you can't do that just based off of theory. You can't do that based off
I
of
thought
just
that for a long
taking
time.
notes, I'm telling you.
I started after in college, after I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that just took me down all of it, right? Think and Grow Rich, and then all the Robert Allen real estate stuff, and then Dolph DeRoos real estate stuff, and then you get into the Good to Great books and all these big corporate books, and I was just bringing this all into my head, but I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Like it was good, and it was like making me understand like the verbiage of business, but I wasn't doing anything. And then I saw like a buddy of mine, and he was like the burnout. He would like smoke cigarettes in high school type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was like long hair, kind of greasy, nice guy, but he was just kind of like, just not into anything. And then he just started a power washing business. And then he started really like expanding, and then he started a pest control business, and then he just started getting huge and huge and huge. And I was like, wait a second, this dude is like getting C's in every class. He's like smoking cigarettes at lunchtime. He's not doing anything, but he was out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I knew he was out there doing stuff. And internally in my brain, Raph, I was like, I felt bad that I wasn't doing stuff. So I'd be like, what is this guy doing? What this is crazy. There's no way it's going to work. And, now he's, ridiculously wealthy, but it's just go out and do stuff as an entrepreneur,
Yeah. It's
provide value.
Such a simple concept, yet it's not adopted by most, right? I think the like for me, I can tell you personally, it was maybe a fear of being wrong, that was holding me back for a long time. So I mean, I'd be able to handle my shit right in my head, in my lane, in my that kind of stuff. But when you really move the needle, is when you start putting stuff out there. I think for and again, I like to think of it as planting seeds of progress and prosperity and perspective in other people, right? Because a lot of times that's all somebody needs to get fired up and then move forward and then have this big, great idea that's going to be a pivot for change on a lot of, more people. And that ripple effect goes on and on and on and on. So,
do you think that most entrepreneurs go through that? Go through that process, or do you think they delegate too early?
The process of, what do you mean?
Planting those seeds.
Oh,
like doing the work, like
no,
moving forward. Like right off the bat with me, I instantly was like, and this is a firstborn thing. I instantly was like, I'm going to delegate. Yeah. I don't want to do the things that I don't want to do. Total entitlement. Yeah. This is my early 20s, right? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hustle it up for a while just because I've got a big motor. And I've always had a big motor. Yeah. And I think most of the people watching and listening to this, you have big motor. I think probably everybody has a big motor for putting in work when you're really excited about something, when you're really focused. But how long does it keep your attention? And how long are you willing to do the really difficult stuff?
Right.
Before you're like, oh, I'm going to just hire somebody to do that. I think 99.9999% of people delegate way too fast, and that's why they bring in a bunch of income, don't take much money home, keep it in the business so that they can hire people. They have no leadership skills at this point in business. Maybe in other things, but not in business. They don't know how to hire great talent. They don't have a business that's making enough money to hire the best talent.
Right.
And most of the time, you just hire the friends and family that you know that have good energy and enthusiasm for the things that you're doing. And you're like, oh, they support me. I'm going to bring them on. And then all of a sudden, it's 6 months, a year later, and the business is gone, and everybody has to scatter to the winds. And now you're hiring people right now.
Yeah, I'm hiring people right now.
People are calling you right now. No, but I mean, I think that people delegate way too fast. I think people need to build. I think that every entrepreneur should have. Well, and this might be controversial. 200,000 in after-tax money in an account before they hire anybody.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's a pretty
in real estate.
It's a very specific number. I do agree. I do agree with the fact that people. It's a very specific number. It makes a lot of sense.
No, I was like 100,000. I was like, no, not 100,000. This is
crank it up. Double or nothing.
Double.
No, but I agree with it. Right. I think you don't know what to hire for. You don't know. I mean, you're looking for help somewhere. But how many times have you seen it where somebody brings somebody on board, and then like, okay, cool. I thought I needed help, but now I don't know exactly what they got to do. Like, how do I keep them accountable? How do I, train them? How do I onboard? Like, okay, what, that kind of stuff. A lot of times we're not prepared for that if we haven't gone through the ringer, right? Mm-hmm. At least, have a notion of what that whole thing looks like, and then an overall good solid picture of what your business should be looking like, and then, operate from there. But yeah, I 100%, man. I think people delegate too quickly, and I think the biggest issue is not even on the technical side of things. It's on the emotional intelligence side of things as leaders and owners, right? You can't. You have to have that thicker skin. You have to go. I mean, you said it earlier. You have to earn the right to delegate. I think that sums it up.
Well, in I also
in a very,
think
very smart way.
I think that there's something in an entrepreneurial brain, and maybe everybody's like this, but I think everybody has a desire to be the chief of the tribe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that once you make more money than other people that you're like, now I'm the chief of the tribe. Yeah. Right, and then you want to bring them into it, and you want to do these type of things. And I'm the chief of the tribe. I'm the chief of the tribe. And if you do that too early, and that's fine, but if you do that too early, and you don't do it with the intention of you work for them, like truly, like my wholesaling business, my real estate business, yes, I own it. The buck stops with me, but really. It is, if I'm not rainmaking them opportunities and putting the systems in place and putting them in the right positions to win, then nothing works. Yeah. So, and if they're not making money, it's my fault. It's not their fault. I mean, if they're not doing the work, first of all, if they're not doing the work, you hired the wrong person. But second of all, so let's start with, you have the right people, they have the right knowledge, they have the right experience, and they're not making as much money as they want to. It's your fault. It's my fault.
100%.
It's they don't work for you. They work with you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we have the ability to create vehicles for wealth, right? Yep. And that's how I see. I'm glad you're saying that, because we line up very well in a lot of things, and this is one of them. And we have the ability to create vehicles for wealth, and that's not just wealth for us; it's wealth for the team. Okay, and those vehicles become opportunities. We have to keep those vehicles rolling. This is funny, but this is how I see my income this way, right? My income is a byproduct of their success. So I'll look at, for example, whatever my director of operations wants to make. Okay, what's your number? Whatever my acquisition wants to make. What's your number? Okay, I focus on them making that number, and I know I'm gonna be okay. Why? Because it's percentages, right? It's rigged. Yep. But I'm a byproduct. Yep. It's my emphasis, my focus, my attention is not on my stack of nuts here. It's on their wealth. Yep. Okay, cool. And I don't know if, like, somehow, some way, that just creates a different energy to the whole thing, as opposed to me being focused on this selfish space. It's this focus on a collaborative space, and what can I do to help them better? And to me, I mean, that simple pivot in mindset and just seeing revenue flow that way it's a game changer. Yep. Yeah. So
well, and I think that we've been, I don't know if it's fed a lie, but I think that it's been misinterpreted more than any business quote of all time, that I want to work on my business, not in my business. And I think that is right when you that is the right way to look at it if you have built this thing up right, you've got the right people, the right processes, and you've put in the work.
Yeah.
Seriously, you have to earn that.
Yeah.
You really have to earn that. And that's
Rite of
something I
passage,
want to
come
tell every young entrepreneur is stop it. Take the money home. Build a big, healthy bank account. Make sure that you're consistent. Make sure that you understand the business that you're in. Make sure that you're building a business that is actually bringing you income for building wealth for yourself and your family, and then go expand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not raising funds like a tech business.
Yeah.
That people are just going to dump in money and lose money on a business for years and years and years with the hope that someday it hits a home run.
Yeah, it's not like that in real
But we
estate.
read books like that. I've read so many books of all these amazing companies and all these things, and they didn't make a profit for years and years and years, and then boom, they're Uber, or boom, they're Apple, or boom. We're not that.
Yeah.
We're real estate investors. We're real estate wholesalers. We're real estate entrepreneurs. We find ugly houses. We get big checks. And then we build a business to be able to do that. And at some point, if we're good enough and we earn the right, we can pull ourselves out of that process and truly be a CEO, which a CEO basically finds the right people with the right talent, keeps everybody organized, keeps people on task, and keeps everybody hitting their goals. And everybody wins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you...
No.
What does a
100%,
CEO
bro.
do?
I think. Well, one, it's a dream come true when you can come into your business and on the from the capacity of almost like a coaching capacity.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you have that big view of everything that's going on. You're able to just kind of dissect and move the pieces around and play around with it and be this creator, for lack of a better term in that space.
Yeah.
But I think that's a responsibility, right? It's not about being in the nuts and bolts of the thing, 24/7. It's not about micromanaging. It's not about, any of that stuff. It's really, about empowering the people that come along with the business, having those leadership skills, having the emotional intelligence that's going to require you to deal with the shitty stuff. And then to, be really good when the good stuff is and not get overwhelmed by it and have, high heads or big heads, grow from that. But it's a compilation of the whole thing. As a CEO, you have to keep all that stuff in check, right? And then come in and then have the ability to see opportunity from whatever the mess is.
Yep.
And it's really cool when you can create something, just a structure, a platform, and you have a team in place that allows you to be that that person for your business. So
Love it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's interesting. So I just kind of random here. We put cabinets in our guest bedroom's closet, right?
Yeah.
It's this big storage closet in the guest bedroom. And I was pulling out all the stuff. It was all junked in there. I was just throwing shit in there. And it was all disheveled and unorganized. And Aaron was just like, "You got to do." That's not
big
a voice,
fancy
but
word.
Yeah,
Disheveled.
Well, it was, and so my wife was just throwing. She was like, "We need to fix this, whatever." So I was going through everything, and I was finding pictures, of myself and Mike Mahoney when we had started at 22 years old, 24 years old. And I took him a picture of it, and I sent it to him, and he called me, and he's like, "I am so glad we're 40." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "What do you expand?" And he's like, "We didn't know anything. We thought that the money would just flow. We thought that good times always rolled. We didn't understand bad times. We only understood the easy path, and we've been beat up, and we're a lot stronger, and we know when to say no to things. We know when to go all in on things. We know how to put together the right teams and have the right mentality for business. And I think that comes with experience. But I think people could leverage other people's experience through listening to this podcast, for watching things. And for anybody that's a young entrepreneur, just stay focused. Focus is so important. Attention is so important. Actually working and being productive and doing income-producing activities and not just thinking in our business. And I'm just going to speak because I don't know. I can't speak to other businesses, but I assume that it's probably similar, but I don't know. In real estate, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Find a path that you want to go down and absolutely crush it. Absolutely stay focused and put your efforts into it, and don't get over your skis, and don't let your ego, which is just a beard that hides your insecurities. That's all ego is, right? That's all it is. We're like, oh, I'm the chief of the tribe type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you are, as long as there's money coming in. You know what I mean? In a certain respect. And it's silly. That's a silly perspective to have. It's a collaboration. It's bringing on the right people. It's having the right experience, and it's staying focused and keeping your attention on business and actually working when you're working. Then you can go home and you can actually enjoy your family.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes on behind that, behind just the veil of entrepreneurship and owning, right? Your right to that title, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think it's a word that, I mean, it's people use it left and right, and it's just abused and
That's fine.
and whatnot, which is it's
Listen,
completely
listen. I don't mind. You know, if people feel good by saying that they're an entrepreneur, that's fantastic. I don't listen. You know, Raph. I don't see anything, right? I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I don't know that whole world, that whole game, that whole thing, because when I go on there, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Like I go on Instagram and I'm like, what is happening here? Why are you showing off? Why are you look at me all the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I say be loud on social media. I mean, document what you're doing.
Yeah.
Talk about what you want to do. Talk about the things that you're excited about. Not like, look at me and the way that my appearance, and look at me and the stuff that I can do, and the money that I've made, and me throwing out and going shopping for luxury items and all this other stuff. That brings the wrong sort of attention to an entrepreneur.
And there's a big difference between leading with value, right, and then just
For
screaming
sure.
for
Perfect.
attention.
You just summed it up.
And I mean,
Perfect.
I think that's really
Yep.
the big difference.
That
there.
is.
Yeah.
That is.
And
Ask me that question, then we'll wrap this up. The question you ask everybody.
If
If I was walking down the street.
Yeah. If you were walking down the street, so leading with value,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So if you were walking down the street, this is my favorite question of all times, I think. I mean, because I felt like I owned the world when I was 17.
Sure.
I was, just young, dumb, full of hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams. That's it. Yep.
And my confidence was through the roof, right?
Yeah.
And I had, the sparkle in my eye. Anyways, 17 years old.
Yeah.
So if you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self, what would you tell that kid? What piece of advice would you give that kid?
And I know I answered it on the last one, but I want to be a little bit more thoughtful with this. Give people the opportunity to know you. Literally go talk to people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously my whole thing, right? But but like from a fundamental level, like, you're dope. People will really get a lot of joy and happiness and value out of you, but they can't do it if you're hiding it.
Yeah.
Just go out there and just start building the muscle of being okay, going up to a stranger and starting a conversation. Don't be scared. You don't have to be scared. You know what I mean? Like, I see 17-year-olds now, and there's not a lot that are very they see an adult and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of like, I don't know if I can speak to their level, or they might know too much or whatever else. I would say get that experience as fast as possible. Have adult conversations as fast as possible.
Yeah. I love that, man.
That's what I would sum it up.
Conversations.
Have adult conversations as fast as possible. And be confident that you're an idiot and you don't know everything, and be humble by that, and have adult conversations as much as possible.
Man, I love it. I love it. That's solid. It's solid, and I think it applies directly. For example, like I'm thinking Alejandro, right? My 15-year-old kid. It's one of the things that I really emphasize. Like, I'll have mature conversations with him. I've been having mature conversations with him since he was about 12.
Yeah.
And it just blew my socks off when I understood that he, I thought he would capture a lot less of those conversations, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
His cognition is a lot, I was underestimating him because of his age.
Yeah.
And man, was I wrong.
Yeah.
It's that confidence level really bubbles up.
Yeah.
So I love that, man.
Awesome.
Bro, thank you so much. Brent Daniels here in the not
Love you,
once,
brother.
but twice. I love you, bro.
Love you, brother.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
the
you.
100th episode of the See
100
podcast.
Love you guys.
Straight at you. He opened it up with the first one, putting a stamp on it on the 100th episode, and then we'll bring you back for the 200th.
That's it.
We'll figure shit out.
See you guys.
Stay focused. You got this.